All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thank you for being here. I'm Jonathan. This is my wife, Blakely. If this is your first time finding our podcast, we put out 2 podcasts every single week. You can see the sign right there if you're watching this on YouTube. Digital Barbell is an online coaching and nutrition company. That means that we provide our clients with customized workout programs. We hold them accountable. We actually coach them. We show them how to move. We make sure they're making progress towards their goals, and we teach them how to eat without nonsense, fad diets, 1,200 calories a day, supplements, all that stuff that you don't need. That is the goal of Digital Barbell. We're on Instagram. We're on the YouTube. We're on Facebook. We are all over the place. Actually, we're not on Facebook.
We're not on Facebook anymore.
We're like taking a stand against Facebook for some reason. Meta going down, although they own Instagram too, but we'll deal with that later. We've got a Q&A episode for you today, and we're going to also give you some ideas for high protein snacks. If there's one thing people want to know is how to eat more protein, and snacks are always a hot topic of conversation. So we're going to give you as many of those as we can. We were going to also give a shout out to our most consistent clients. Every month we do this thing called the Consistency Club, where we look at all of our clients who have worked out at least 12 times in that month. Excuse me, my phone is too close to the microphone. It's getting mad at me, but I saved the Consistency Club note here. Let me pull it up on my phone. Make some conversation while I do this.
Actually forgot to we have to go through and manually kind of see who has made the Consistency Club, and we missed the month of April. So to make it up to you guys for the month of May, we're reading your names out here.
That's right.
This is the Consistency Club in no particular order. This means, like he said, they hit 12 workouts or more in the month of May. Andy, Bill, Chad, Dan, Jason, Justin, Katie, Scott, Sean, Wayne, Abby, Abigail, Angela, Bernie, Brendan, Brian, Carol, Darren, John, Kristen, Stephanie, Susan, Wilson, Amanda, Amy, Annie, James, Jen, Jill, Kim, Matt, Mike, Ray, Sean, Seth, Stephen, Susan, Suzanne, Tim, Adam, Austin, Claire, Christina, Emily, Marge, Phyllis, Cherie, and Victoria. You guys, that's amazing.
That's going into summer. I mean, May's not an easy month to be consistent in. So big shout out to those people.
That's amazing. I'm super proud of all of you guys.
I mean, huge pat on the back to those people, and huge pat on the back to Digital Barbell too, because I don't know if those people would be as consistent without having a plan to follow and a coach that cares about the progress that they're making and stuff. So I think if you're listening to this and you want more consistency in your workouts, and despite your best intentions, all I got to do is buckle down. I'm going to try harder this week. This is my month. Maybe the missing piece is the thing that these people who are consistent have. Yeah. So shameless plug right there, but I think it's worth throwing out there.
And if you're a client, we're going to do something different with the Consistency Club for the summer. It's going to be June, July, and August, 30 workouts in the summer. Combined in the summer. And if you hit 30 workouts this summer, you're in the Summer Consistency Club. I think that's a really cool way to do it, because I know people sometimes they have, week or two vacations here and there in the summer. This will allow you to stay consistent throughout the summer for those weeks that you are at home.
Heck yeah. Baller status right there. Another announcement before we get to the sponsor for this episode.
We have a very important sponsor this week. Hurry up.
We've been talking about this for a long time and finally got around to doing it, but there are now t-shirts available to buy.
Oh my gosh.
The way we do these t-shirts is we have a third-party company that makes them. They set up a web store for us. They take all the orders, they close the cart, and then they drop ship them directly to you. There's no inventory where Blakely and I are dealing in shirts and shipping them out and have extras and all this kind of stuff. And I always say that to remind you that you need to take the deadline for when to order these things seriously, because once they're gone, they're gone. So if you are interested in getting a Digital Barbell t-shirt, we have 3 styles available. One unisex tee, a muscle tank, and then a flowy crop available in different colors, and they say DGTL.
I was going to try to pull up the picture I made, but it's not under here. It's not on your phone.
She's in the settings on my phone over here. Why are you calling my mom? What's going on here? Oh my gosh.
I wasn't in the settings, so I was trying to
the wheels are falling off. Tell everybody what the dates are that they can order this.
Basically, today is the 5th through the 14th. And sometimes they close the store on midnight on the day,
before.
Basically the 13th midnight or the 14th midnight. So we're not in charge of like the store hours. Right. So basically before next Friday, get your shirt orders in.
This is 2024 if you're listening to this in the distant future, and the month is June.
Did you say this? Sorry, I was busy looking at your phone. That these shirts have our new, which is not on the sign, trademark.
It's got the registered thing on there.
Trademark on them because we are a registered trademark company now. So. And
one thing we learned about getting a registered trademark is if you don't use it, then they will just not enforce it. They're like, well, you're not using it.
And it's not easy to get it.
Right. It's expensive. So anyway, it's done. We're excited for you guys to get these shirts. Get like multiple colors in them. Save on shipping. And like they're going to last a long time too. Especially these unisex t-shirts are super soft. They're the suede cotton. We've used them on many t-shirts in the past. These things are awesome.
And the women's tank, it's called like the concert tee or something like that. Muscle concert tee. This was like my best seller at my gym of the tank for the ladies. It fits great and it's pretty true to size.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if I get extra. I think I get a small in that one personally. But yeah, it was hands down our favorite tank when I had Triat. And the crops are the same ones. If you ordered a Biscuit Sunday shirt, like that was like this winter, it's the same little crop shirt. So it's called a crop, but it really hits you right at your pants line. Yeah. It's not like a midriff shirt.
Right. Okay, so the URL is too complicated to read out on this podcast episode, so you can either grab it in the link on our Instagram profile, or I'll put the link to the store in the notes for this episode, whether you're listening on audio or watching it on YouTube. Yeah. By the way, shout out to the people that are watching this on YouTube. Our YouTube views are going up and up and up each week. It takes more work for us to do it. We really like the interaction we get from the YouTube people, and we like watching stuff on YouTube, so that's why we're putting all this stuff out there too. All right,
okay,
who is the sponsor?
Is it time for the sponsor?
Who is the sponsor of this episode?
The sponsor this week, I'm very thankful for this sponsor. The sponsor this week is Ultra Swim shampoo and conditioner.
What the heck is that?
Ultra Swim was the thing that I was on the swim team back from when I was a kid all the way through high school, and Ultra Swim was in my bathroom always. It's the shampoo that prevents your hair from turning green if you're in chlorine a lot. I used it growing up most of my life. I haven't thought about it in a long time because I haven't really been diving into pools. You know, as an adult, I think when you go into a pool, you're like more like chilling, soaking, hanging out. So I don't really like go under the water too often. But this past week we were hanging out at our friend's pool, and I had like my hair in a kind of like this in a ponytail with a long braid, and my hair was like dipping in the water like halfway. I didn't think anything of it. I had gone in our pool earlier that day, gone all the way under. I come home and my hair is like bright grass green, like the brightest green I've ever seen my hair turn. And my hair turns quickly green in chlorine, like I don't know, because of the blonde. Yeah, it's still it's a very calm shade. It was like the green of the cup of your Stanley. It was that green. I was like, oh my gosh, where's the Ultra Swim when you need it? No, but Jonathan Googled it for me, and you can like paste your hair with baking soda, let it sit for like 5 minutes, and it really took it out.
Yeah,
but anyway,
probably cut it at least by 50%.
Ultra Swim for sponsoring this podcast, because I'm going to have to get that on the rotation if I plan on going under the water anymore this summer.
Are you just going to let this ride out with shampoo, or are you going to try to baking soda it again?
I'll probably baking soda it again, but it's really not that bad.
Yeah. Maybe people think you did it on purpose.
Green tips.
Yeah, it could be a thing. All right, there we go. There's the sponsor of the episode. I mean, we've had some crazy ones, but that one's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to these 2 questions that we've got, and then we'll get to the high protein snacks. You ready? Mm-hmm. All right, this one came in from Wilson. He said, what benefits are lost or gained by substituting barbell for dumbbell movements when we don't have appropriate dumbbell weights for the movement? How should we think about scaling the barbell weight? For example, if we would do 50-pound dumbbells, what should we aim for with the barbell movement? Good question.
That is a good question. Yeah, I know. There's like, I guess like why do I even program sometimes barbells and sometimes dumbbells? Mm-hmm. The reason I do that is because I'm thinking like if in the barbell program. So if you're in like, getting a barbell program, not everything is going to be barbell.
Right. Because
I'm thinking about the volume of the week for you. So I might be like backing off an RDL and having you do a a dumbbell RDL to decrease the volume that you're lifting, the hinging that you're lifting and pulling from the ground with a heavy barbell. So that's why. So I would say when you're thinking about like substituting in a barbell, rather than thinking like, oh, I would be using 50 pounds, what's my substitute? Think about the reps that are like shown. Like, so if it's like a 10 to 15 set rep, think about like what barbell weight could you do for that hard set?
Yeah. Trying to hit the same stimulus
Yeah.
and idea for what the prescribed weight and rep scheme was for the dumbbells.
Yeah. Because I know like if you're more limited with dumbbells, so it's not like you should just do 100. You know, if you're like, okay, I can do 50s. If 50s is maybe all you have, like I would be doing 50s with the dumbbell RDLs. Don't put 100 pounds on the bar and do that, because you could probably do a lot more in the RDL. But think more about like what is the rep scheme that they're showing here, and then set your weight accordingly.
And then like, let's just talk about some of the pros and cons if you only have barbells and not dumbbells. Like it's a lot harder to do upper body unilateral training with only a barbell. You know, like if you're doing dumbbell presses overhead, you're using all those stabilizing muscles of the shoulder. When you're doing overhead press, you're developing the strength of each arm independently, where you're not going to be able to compensate. Like if you're pushing a barbell up, I don't know if you've ever done like a heavy barbell press, but if you're looking in a mirror, sometimes one arm is going up a little bit faster than the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, you aren't going to gain as much stability in using a barbell all the time. And there's also a lot of like upper body pulling exercises that you can't do with a barbell only, like a reverse fly or a lateral raise, like some of the shoulder work that we do.
Yeah.
Hammer curls, like there's just some upper body variations that you really can't do with a barbell.
Yeah, and I would say it's interesting because I think I have become stronger because of using dumbbells more often. And by that I mean like stronger in like real world scenarios, like being able to pick up odd or uncomfortable objects out in the real world, because I'm picking up dumbbells so much more often. Like when I first started doing CrossFit, my first like 2 CrossFit gyms that I went to or worked at did not have any dumbbells. It was all barbells, and then like a kettlebell swing and a slam ball. I was pretty proud that my gym had a lot of dumbbells. We had like a whole slew of dumbbells. And then when CrossFit actually started like putting dumbbell work in the open, dumbbells became even more popular in CrossFit, because they were kind of pushing toward like you need to be using these also, not just everything with barbells. And actually we were just camping this past week, and we have adjustable dumbbells when we camp. And I was just commenting to you, I was like, I think using these adjustable dumbbells when we camp has made me even feel more confident in moving odd objects than just the regular dumbbells, because they're even more awkward because they're
so
super
awkward.
long. The handle is super fat. But you like, you know, I think I had 30s on my shoulders for some squats. And then like I had to like kind of get them down and then remain like in the grip. And I was like, kind of proud that I was able to do that because it's awkward. And so just
It's
really
very functional.
like, it's a very functional movement, even though it might not feel like as heavy as it would with a barbell. I think like what you were talking about, the stability, just being able to manipulate awkward objects.
To carry
in
over
space.
to everyday life.
Yeah.
I think there's some advantages to dumbbells over barbells too. Like let's say you prescribe dumbbell bench press or incline dumbbell bench press in a workout.
Yeah.
Like if you have to substitute that for barbell, the range of motion that you can get on a barbell bench press is limited to whenever the bar touches your chest.
Yeah.
So on a dumbbell, you can actually go deeper than that because there's nothing impeding you from going deeper. And anytime you can get a bigger stretch on the muscle, you have the potential to grow more strength and muscle. So that's one of the advantages dumbbells has over barbells.
But that being said, I do think that we're talking about like a program where you have both, access to both is the most beneficial, because dumbbells alone, you're even more restricted on the weights that you can do, because you'll eventually tap out on the weight you can deadlift, because you're not going to be able to get big enough dumbbells, or you can't even lift big enough dumbbells to like satisfy what you could squat, what you could deadlift, things like that. Even what you could bench press, like what you could get into position for a true barbell bench press. So I think that like,
You mean dumbbell?
yeah. So getting barbells, I think is really beneficial to your training, but then utilizing dumbbells for accessory movements.
Yeah. Like going back to what you said about like substituting a barbell in for a dumbbell to try to hit the stimulus of whatever the prescription was on the dumbbell movement. Sometimes you're going to probably have to go, and maybe you said this earlier, but you're going to have to go significantly heavier on the barbell movement if you only have barbells. Because let's say you prescribed a set of dumbbell bench press and the goal was to, shoot for like the 8 to 12 rep range. Well, for me, maybe I have to use 75-pound dumbbells to get to a hard set range for that 8 to 12. So if I like doubled that, went to 150 pound, like I could probably do a lot more than 8 to 12 with 150 pounds on the barbell. So don't be surprised if you're substituting in barbell, you have to go 100 to maybe even 200% more than your combined dumbbell weight, especially if it's something like a deadlift. So keep that in mind. Another reason to have a coach right there. I'll just say one more thing about, substituting barbells for dumbbells is sometimes heavy dumbbells are just awkward to get off the floor too. One of the advantages of a barbell is if you're doing deadlifts, like it's starting on the ground from a safe position where you can lift it up. So anyway, but like you talked about, they're functional too. So if you can learn to pick up a heavy dumbbell off the ground for dumbbell deadlifts, the pallet of water or the dog food bag is not a big deal.
Exactly.
Okay. Anything else you want to say on that one?
I think that's good.
Okay. It's getting warm in here because we have to turn the air off and it's
getting warm.
It's like
quick.
300 degrees outside and quickly approaching that in here. Okay. Shirley sent this one in. She said, good substitution exercises for when you travel last minute and need to substitute your workout to travel friendly. This happens a lot to our clients and probably you guys listening too. You're going on a trip. You don't have like access to a lot of equipment, or the equipment's going to be different. What should you do? How should you adjust your program?
Yeah, I think that you can get away with doing some like band like pump stuff. With like we have something called like an arm farm. I think is great for somebody that just needs I'm traveling. I need like 20 minutes in a hotel room to do something, and I can't like jump around. For that kind of workout, I would totally do some band curls, some band rows, some band triceps, things like that. But you're never going to replicate with just bands, what you can do strength wise, with dumbbells or barbells.
Right.
I think if you are I want to work out 3 times this week, I'm going to have access to nothing except for myself and, Mary Pay bands. I would say the best thing to do is to, and if you don't have access to a coach or anything like that, honestly, I would log into CrossFit.com, scroll back and find a body weight CrossFit Metcon and do that.
Yeah, that's
something to get your heart rate up. For 15 minutes or something like that, and you'd be good to go for that day.
Not a bad idea at all. Another good idea, if you do have access to at least some bands, is we have, I think you wrote 12 free travel workouts that we have on our website. So I'll put a link to where you can download that. But let's zoom out from the context of all this. The two, how much strength did you build? Let's say you're going on a week vacation. Looking back at your training, how much strength did you build in 1 week? Let's say you're going on a 2-week vacation. How much strength did you build in 2 weeks of your training?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. So you're not going to you don't need to overanalyze this and worry about it too much. Your muscle,
worry about losing progress.
Right. You're not going to lose a lot of progress in 1 or 2 weeks, especially if you take Blakely's advice and you just stimulate the muscle with some kind of resistance, or you do some kind of workout.
Because really the most important thing is the consistency piece that you're keeping, not I need to get in the gym and do the strength movements that I'm missing. You need to keep the consistency going, because that is what will keep you walking back into your house and jumping right back into the gym.
If you crush the habit, it's going to be a long time before you get things rolling again. But if you can do something, you come back feeling fresh, not like you're stuck in a hole. That's the biggest thing. But the point of maintaining strength and muscle on a vacation or an extended time off is just give the muscle a stimulus that tells it that it needs to stick around. So as you're doing these workouts that you're going to download that Blakely wrote, they're supposed to be done pretty darn close to failure. Stimulate the muscle, get a good pump, go till you're almost completely pooped out.
If you're just using bands.
Right. And you're going to be completely fine. And then one other thing I would think about with this, and I would do this personally probably, is I would look at what is something that I don't do a ton of in my training. I don't do a ton of steady state cardio in my training. So I might look at a week or 2 week trip as a chance to do more biking, do more jogging, that kind of stuff. Work on something that isn't, a big staple in my training.
Yeah. Great.
All right. Thanks for that question, Shirley. Let's roll.
But if you do work with digital barbell, you can always hit up your coach, because we do have travel workouts that we can pop on your calendar easily, so you can again keep that consistency going, log in into True Coach and finding your workout.
Yep.
So
That's what we do around here. All right, let's get to some stuff that people want to know.
All right.
People want to know, what are some high protein snacks that I can eat?
All right.
Preferably that taste good too, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me just be a Debbie Downer here right off the bat and say, not going to give you a lot of specific or any maybe specific protein bar recommendations. Here's the sad fact, folks. Protein bars are not a great source of protein. We've told you many times on this podcast what our quote rule is to determine if a snack is high protein or not. Take the grams of protein in it, multiply that number times 10, and that number should be greater than the number of calories in the entire bar. And I would also recommend, because the way things go is companies are taking advantage of this net carb thing where they're pumping all this soluble or insoluble fiber and sugar alcohol into these quote protein bars, and then they're subtracting those grams of whatever they're putting in out before they calculate the calories. So be aware of that as you do that calculation on the high protein snack rule, because most snack bars that you find are going to be in the 15-ish grams of protein range for 200 to 250 calories. And when you crunch the numbers on that, you'll see that that it doesn't fit the rule. And that's because a lot of the calories are coming from carbohydrates and fat. And if we're talking about getting a high protein snack, we want most of the calories to be coming from protein. Capiche?
What are your current snacks?
I mean,
Your current go-to snacks personally?
well, I did try those. What was that bar I had the other day? The one bar that was taking advantage of the net carb thing, though. It had like maybe 8 grams of sugar alcohol or 5 grams of sugar alcohol in it. But as far as bars go, I don't really look at my bars as a high protein snack.
No, I'm talking about what snack do you make now?
The ones I do here at home most often is like a rice cake with a big pile of low-fat cottage cheese on it, or frozen raspberries defrosted mixed into 0 or 2% Greek yogurt. And those crush the high protein snack rule all day.
I was wondering if the rice cake cottage cheese one does.
Well, I'm not counting the rice cake in it, but the cottage cheese always will.
You're eating the rice cake.
But I typically use that as like a miniature meal. Like if we're short on time for lunch, I'll have 2 of those with the cottage cheese to make sure I'm getting about 30 grams of protein. Those things are overflowing with cottage cheese, by the way. And then the calories from the rice cakes are really just like my carb portion for the meal. But the cottage cheese on its own, as we'll see in this list, is a great thing. Yeah, but anyway, be aware of snack bars. I want it too. I want there to be a snack bar out there that like meets this rule, like, and is delicious, and isn't pumped full of sugar alcohols that make you get cramps and all that kind of stuff. But so if you're listening to this and you like have a food scientist in the family, come out with it. You'll make $1 million. All right, so let's start going through this list. You ready?
Yeah.
Speaking of cottage cheese, I mean, cottage cheese is like having this moment in this in the sun, right? Like people are throwing it in everything, making ice cream out of it, throwing it in scrambled eggs, all kind of stuff. You say, where did it go? So yeah. Now, when you get your cottage cheese, don't go for the 4% or the 6% or the whole or whatever. Otherwise, you're going to break the rule and there's going to be tons of calories coming from fat. Go with 2% or skim cottage cheese. Greek yogurt, go for the 2% or the 0%. Icelandic yogurt. Did you know there's a difference between Greek and Icelandic yogurt? There is. They call it Icelandic yogurt skyr. It's like has even more of the water filtered out of it, so it has this really creamy, delicious texture. This brand called Icelandic Provisions makes one that's amazing. Comes in a bunch of different flavors.
We did find out though. That used to be my go-to, and it is pumped full of a little bit more saturated fat than the Faye. Right. So I actually stopped eating that one and went back to the Faye. Sorry, I got like a
But just read the label. There are several Icelandic Provisions flavors that are lower fat too. And also Siggy's is an Icelandic yogurt. Everybody knows about whey protein shakes. Just use the high protein rule when you calculate the calories on that. Blakely is on a huge kick of
protein pudding. Ever since we did that podcast talking about how to make protein pudding, I had a taste of it because I used to make it a long time ago and then I like kind of forgot about it. It is delicious. I eat it every day. I look forward to it. My go-to. I got like a tickle. I like swallowed wrong.
You want some of my water?
I have tons of water.
Okay.
I use the Arbonne protein, the vanilla. You just put enough milk to where you make it like a pudding consistency, so it's pretty thick, and you need to eat it with a spoon. This is not a protein situation that you drink.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
And I think like if you're turned
Highly
off of
recommend.
protein shakes or they make you feel really full, like, oh, I don't want to drink that and then slosh around, make it into a protein pudding. You can also spread protein pudding on a rice cake too.
Just don't like really don't concentrate on the color. Like it's like
Depends on the protein you use.
yeah, I mean, I think people look at it and they're like, that looks disgusting because it's like a yellowish brown, but it's delicious. Like, don't even, it looks like dough. It looks like if you're making like biscuits.
And
That's
you
the
well, you
color
can
of
make it whatever consistency you want. Just keep adding milk until you get to your desired mousse or
Yeah.
pudding texture. Okay, moving on. Fairlife milk. Now, this really Fairlife is the brand. You might recognize them for making Core Power shakes, but basically this is ultra filtered milk where they filter out the lactose, which is the sugar in the milk. They filter out more of the water, leaving more of the protein solids behind. So 1 cup of Fairlife milk has 13 grams of protein.
Is it Nate Bargatze that has that joke of like, I've never ordered milk in public as an adult?
Yeah, I mean, it is funny though. Like, if you want a real way to boost your protein as a hack, drink a glass of Fairlife milk with every meal that you eat during the day. Boom. What's 13 times 3? 39. Yeah. Boom. 39 extra grams of protein just from the drink that you're having with your meal. Again, don't go for whole ultra filtered milk. Go for skim or 2%, so you're not bringing along a bunch of other calories. Okay, I mentioned Fairlife. They're the ones who make the Core Power shakes. They make 2 different versions of it. One has 26 grams of protein. The other one has 42 grams of protein. Wow, you're not going to beat that. Companies like Premier Protein make little pre-made shakes that somehow don't have to be refrigerated. They're on the shelf in the grocery store. Yeah. I don't know if you drink them warm or if you're supposed to put them in the fridge first. But anyway, those options are out there. Here's a weird one a lot of people don't know about. That company Quest that makes Quest bars, they're on a quest to make high-protein snacks. Boom.
They used to make Quest chips.
They still do. That's the suggestion, the Quest chips. So these come in the grocery store. They're usually in the same aisle with the protein bars that aren't actually protein bars. And they come in a bunch of different flavors. And they actually fit the high protein snack rule without any shenanigans.
No shenanigans. No warnings like
nope.
This will cause you distress of any
right.
kind.
No distress. Distress or distress. And those have like 18-ish grams of protein per bag. Now, the caveat with these like highly processed, high protein snacks is, you put that bag of chips in your hand, you're like, oh, this is not a lot of food. Yeah. So, it's like 150 calories or whatever.
That's not going to be a main source of protein for you.
It's not a main source of protein, and it's not very satisfying too. So that's true with any ultra processed snack food. Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on to some other stuffs. Sugar-free beef jerky. And you got to put a caveat on this one because there's so many jerkies out there that taste so amazing. And then you flip over the package and you're like, holy smokes, 15 grams of carbs and 10 grams of added sugar in this. It's just like the protein bars. Like, yeah, we're trying to get the protein, but we're not trying to get all this other stuff in there. So the Tillamook brand makes a really good 0-calorie beef jerky that comes in a couple different flavors. I'll put a link to that and another one in the that you can get on Amazon in the show notes. And yeah, so jerky. A lot of people complain like, I don't like eating jerky. Well, you're trying to get more protein. Sometimes you're gonna have to do some things.
If you don't like the texture of jerky, I do recommend the Epic bars because I'm not a big jerky.
There. Spoiler alert.
I don't see the list. I'm not a big jerky fan. I don't like how it. I don't like really like to eat it. But those Epic bars. Fantastic.
You know the worst part about jerky is when you get that piece that just does not seem to want to break down no matter how much you chew it, and then you're faced with that moment where you're like, what am I going to do with this thing? Am I going to keep chewing it? Am I going to just go for it and try to swallow it, or am I going to spit it out? Don't try to swallow it, guys. We want you sticking around.
Especially if you're driving.
Spit that out. Okay, there's a brand called Ostrom bars. We used to be able to get these when we lived in Idaho. These come in all kinds of different game meats like elk and venison and beef and turkey. Those are delicious. They fit the high protein snack rule. Epic bars, like you talked about. I think Epic even makes jerky now. Tons of different meats that they make those from. They make a chicken sriracha one that is really good.
And their whole breakfast line of bars. They have fantastic breakfast
I haven't seen those
bars
lately.
Well, we used to get them in Idaho, but I haven't never seen them here.
Yeah, maybe they're not in favor here in Texas. Okay, you ready for this one? This one's going to blow your mind. A piece of chicken.
Truck meat.
Hashtag truck meat. Back when I worked construction and I was in my truck all day, I was famous worldwide for bringing my cooler bag in my little Ziploc bag with a small chicken breast in it. Boom. 25 grams of protein. I'm eating a cold chicken breast in my truck like an animal.
You want a satisfying snack. A piece of bag of chicken and a big dill pickle.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, that's going to be a great snack and you're gonna be full and you're gonna be like not hungry for a few hours after
Right.
that. The pickle just gives you flavor. That's not gonna keep you full, but it's a good snack.
Yeah, it'll pickle you. Yeah, so truck meat, that's a good one. Okay, tuna packets. Man,
Yeah.
the selection of tuna packets out there is insane. I mean, these things, like the flavors they have, are you kidding me? And some of them even come with a little fork.
Yeah.
And some other stuff
Some
you
crackers
mix in
and-
there. And I mean, yeah, it's like a whole meal in a little bag. And they're
And
pretty
they
low
have these a
calorie
lot.
too.
Like I've noticed these at coffee shops a lot now.
Really?
Yeah, like the coffee shop here in town, they'll have those little boxes, and they have like the tuna, the little crackers, and the fork, and you can make your own little to-go
Wow.
snack.
Is
right
it
there.
tuna salad or tuna?
I don't know.
Do they salad it with some mayonnaise?
They might give you all of the pieces to make the tuna salad.
I don't understand this whole thing. Like, you take chicken, you add mayonnaise, you have tuna salad. You take tuna. Did I say chicken last?
Yeah.
You add tuna, it's salad. You take
Because it's creamy,
cheese.
you like eat it differently as a salad.
It doesn't make any sense to me. You take something perfectly healthy and you salad it, which was a healthy word, so it makes no sense. I said, okay, here's another one that people overlook. Bring some deli meat with you. Just put a little in a Ziploc bag. Make a roll up. Throw a piece of cheese in there. I don't care. You shouldn't be getting all of your protein from highly processed
Yeah.
deli meats.
Or tunas. But
But yes, it can be. I mean, if we're talking, this is like 100 to 200 calories out of your day. That's a perfectly acceptable amount. Doesn't mean you're going to.
my mom was ahead of the game. I grew up on like, she called it like a happy plate, but she would make roll-ups of cheese and meats and pickles. That was like my go-to meals and snacks growing up. Like, but you know, it's
Yeah.
organized with little toothpicks and like really cute to look at.
Made it happy.
Made me happy, but
toothpicks
that's a
made it
great
happy.
snack. I never think about that.
I like
Rolled
it.
up cheese, rolled up meat, and pickles.
People also forget that ham is a lean meat as far as the deli meats
Yeah.
go. Here at our grocery store, sometimes we'll buy the little, it looks like a little miniature honey baked ham. Comes like tightly wrapped in plastic. It's not really like in the deli section where they're slicing the meat. It's usually
It's where like the Lunchables and stuff are.
right. And ham is a really lean meat. You look at the macros, you're like,
Yeah.
man, this only has like 1 gram of fat in it, and it's really, really delicious. It's pretty salty, so I wouldn't recommend having it every single day or having like 4 ounces of it every day. So yeah, all right. Moving on to turkey pepperoni. It's a processed meat, so it falls under the same guidelines as the deli meat, but it's super lean. And man, if you could like add some turkey pepperoni onto like a sandwich or something like that, or into a meal, it gives you this boom flavor burst. That's why they put it on pizza, because
Or
it tastes
into
good.
a salad, yeah.
But yeah, you can just throw some in a Ziploc bag, bring it with you. It won't like kill you if it gets warm too. Brings out the flavor a little bit, and they kind of curl up. You can tell I've done that before. Okay, you ready for the last one?
Yeah.
This one is unconventional at best. Edamame. We used to crush some edamame.
We
I
did.
think we have some in the freezer right now. You can buy it frozen and just throw it in the microwave. Makes a good like little snack
Yeah.
if you're at home and you're tempted to like nosh on something. Basically, soy is a great source of protein. It's one of the only ways to get protein in if you're a vegan or vegetarian that is actually a high protein food. So check your grocery store, see if they have frozen options. There might even be some in like the fresh section too. You could
That's a great idea for like a lot of times when we're like gonna be cooking dinner, but we're not. It's not like, you know, it's gonna be an hour out. I'm like, oh, I just want some chips.
Yeah.
Like snacking on the edamame. I think that's why we would do it. Is like
Yeah.
a little substitute. You
Yeah,
kind
let's-
of get that saltiness, and you know, just putting something in your mouth every once in a while. So.
Yeah. If you've never tried it before, make sure you add some salt. And I'm just throwing this out there. It looks like a big, like a sugar snap pea. You only eat the part that's inside the pod. Pop the.
People have probably been to restaurants where
I
you
don't
eat
know.
these.
I don't know. There was a time I didn't know and just put the whole thing in my mouth and
You're
chewed
like,
it up.
this doesn't chew.
So eat only the little beans in there. You know what that reminds me of? That scene in that Melissa McCarthy
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
Spy, where
eats
they're
the
at the
napkin.
restaurant. She takes the hot napkin from the waiter and starts chewing
Bread
on
is
it.
chewy.
It's so good.
goodness.
All right, we have lost it, folks. If you're still here, thank you. You're one of our most devoted fans, and we appreciate it. A reminder, go get your T-shirt.
Yeah.
Represent. You'll see us wearing them probably in the next couple
All the
weeks.
different colors.
Once
I'm
they're
excited.
in. What else did we announce? Was there something else, or was that it?
Be sure you have some Ultra Swim on hand if you go into the pools this summer and you have light colored hair.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. All right, and shout out again to all those clients who are in the Committed Club. We'll do it again over the course of the summer. And seriously, you know, we're accepting applications for new clients all the time. You know, we're not a good fit for everybody. We want people that want to work hard. We want people who are ready to do the work. We're ready to provide you with the plan that makes it easy to do that and provide you with the accountability to stay consistent, help you move well so you don't get hurt, keep you from getting burnt out. And that's what we're all about. So if you want to apply to work with one of the three of us in the company, just go to the show notes and click on the button to apply for coaching. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Have a good day, guys.